Well, good after evening, everyone. Holy cow. What a wonderful, wonderful weekend. For all those who celebrate, happy Easter, happy Passover, happy whatever you're celebrating. I hope you enjoyed it. And welcome to our 250th episode of Material Issues. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I can't believe we've done this now 250 times with my very good friend, the president of the International Pop Overthrow Music Festival. He's out there in sunny Southern California, Mr. David Bash. David, happy Passover. Happy 250th episode of Material Issues. This is going to be a great night, people, because not only are David and I here, and we love each other, and it's fantastic, but we've got great guests tonight and very special to both of us as well. So, David, good evening.
Good evening, Mark. Happy Easter to everyone who's celebrating today, who's having fun, finding eggs and all that good stuff. Happy Passover to those who've been celebrating since Wednesday night. Not a whole lot to talk about IPO-wise. We'll be heading to Chicago. Hey, Starman. Be heading to Chicago in 11 days. Happy holidays, Tim. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. What was I going to say? Yeah, so we're leaving. IPO Chicago starts on the 17th, goes through the 25th, once again at the great venue Montrose Saloon. The schedule has been intact for quite a while. We're happy about that. We put together the IPO Glasgow schedule about a week ago, and today we put the Stockholm schedule together, but we're not going to present it to the bands until Tuesday. So yeah, everything is in full force. I also started soliciting for this year's IPO compilation, volume 27. I have a lot more cities to contact about that. So we've only done a few of them so far. But yeah, everything's moving along as it should. What else did I want to say? Have you watched some baseball games now, and have you seen the ABS system, and what do you think of it?
I've only seen kind of a little bit. I've always wondered when this was going to basically happen. I lament a little bit the human element being slowly taken away. That to me was all part of that's the game. You got to play the game, and now if we can correct things or the whole challenge thing and whatnot, for me, you either do it all automated and that's it, or you leave the human element in and forget about it.
Right.
The slowing down and the stopping and let's challenge this. And I don't know.
The challenges are very fast, which is a good thing. And as far as the human element goes, MLB would probably love nothing more than not to have to pay umpires. They save so much money. I think we are probably headed to a point.
Yeah.
I don't know how soon, but we're headed to a point where there will no longer be umpires.
Yeah.
Until then, I have to say that I do like the ABS system. It's very quick. It's very efficient. And the only thing is it's a little bit confusing. Basically, what every team has is they basically have as many challenges as they want until they get two wrong. And that's something I don't think people understand. It took me a little while to get that because they're always saying you have two challenges. No, you don't have two challenges. You have two wrong challenges. It's not like you get two right and you're done. You can get unlimited amount of challenges if you keep calling them right. But you only get to make two mistakes and then you have no challenges. So that's the rule. I really like it that way. And the response has been mixed. Some people have said it's showing that we don't need the umpires, that they suck, because there have been a lot of overturned calls. But then other people say, and I agree with them, that it just highlights how good these umpires really are. I mean, there have been a lot of confirmed calls. And then, of course, what about the ones that aren't challenged?
Yeah.
these umpires are great at what they do, but they're human and they're not perfect. And baseball is now trying to get to where the game is being called perfectly within reason. I mean, you can't challenge everything. So there are still, once challenges are out, there are going to be mistakes made, and so they're not doing anything about that. But I'm fine with all of this. I like you, Mark, will lament them getting rid of umpires. So, and I'm going to say when they do. Yeah. But I do like what's going on right now. That's all I'm going to say.
Could you imagine if the day comes where they got rid of all umpires, especially the home plate umpire, and a manager still disagrees with the ABS system, so they run out to argue, and there's no one to argue with?
They're going to have to phone New York in the central location and argue with them
with a telephone and go.
That will be funny if a manager runs out because they forget there's no umpires, and then the crowd is like laughing at them and booing them, and then they realize, like, oh my God, what the hell did I do? That may very well happen. Anyway, let's get off of baseball because most of our listeners are probably not fans. Let's talk about music. Before we bring on our guests, I want to make a pitch for something that's coming out on the label that is run by my good friends. My label, I don't own it, but my compilations are on it. Omnivore Recordings, and they've got a record store day release coming up. And I never get record store day releases in advance until this one, because I spoke with one of the owners about how cool it was, and he said, I'll send it to you early. I said, I'll promote it. It's a band from Baltimore called Bob Brady and the Concords. This is the only compilation that they have. It's a 60s band. Never had any big hits, said regional hits. I don't know if you know about this band. Have you heard of them before?
No, not at all.
Most people haven't, but those who have will already know how remarkable this is. But I want to play one track. It's only 2 minutes. It's a cover of a Smokey Robinson song.
Wow.
That didn't quite make it, but people who love Northern Soul and that sort of thing really like it. It's called More, More of Your Love. Here we go on Material Issues. Released on the Chariot label in 1967, and then reissued a couple of years later. Hey, Tyler, reissued a couple of years later on A&M, where it made a little bit more headway. That was More of Your Love, a cover of Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and it's by Bob Brady and the Concords. It's a little bit faster than Smokey's. Yeah. And the Northern Soul scene in the early 70s really took to it and was played in a lot of those clubs in Northern England. But the really remarkable thing about this band, they're all white guys. Yes, I'm going to say that in 2026. They're all white guys, everybody. And we'll talk more about this, as the weeks progress. I'm doing this partially as a sort of a lead-in to a guest that we're going to have in a few weeks on Material Issues on May 26th. We're going to have Brad Rosenberger, one of the owners of Omnivore, and hopefully Cheryl Powelski, who's a co-owner. We'll see if she can join. We'll be talking about this release and some of the others on the label. So now Bob Brady was the lead singer. Greg and Peter Brady did not make it to any of the sessions. Hey, if you think that's funny, I mean, listen to the Brady Bunch. It's a Sunshine Day. I mean, listen to that soulful vocal Bobby had in the.
Bobby
rig.
Was soulful.
You knew he could do this. You knew it. In fact, he did it a few years before he even was on the Brady Bunch. So that's even. No, never mind. It's a different Bob Brady, people. That's right. In case anybody was perplexed by all of this. Anyway, enough of this nonsense, except that is a great song and it's a great compilation. But we'll talk more about it later. Right now, we've got some very special guests, as you mentioned, Mark, very good friends, especially of yours. You've known these guys a long time. I've been a fan, as I'm sure you have, since the 70s when their album No More, No Less came out in 1973. And they were part of the first wave of power pop, along with Badfinger and Raspberries. We're talking about Blue Ash, of course. They also had an album come out in the late 70s on Playboy Records called Front Page News. They're a bit overlooked in the annals of power pop, but really, when you look at it, it's very clear that they were right there, along with Badfinger and Raspberries, even though they didn't have the sizable hits that those bands did. But people recognize it now, recognize them now. They've No More, No Less has been reissued. And today we're going to celebrate the release of a really cool compilation right here called Dinner at Mr. Billy's. And I have to ask what Mr. Billy's is, but we'll ask them about that. These are a bunch of previously unreleased tracks from the 70s that I assume these have never come out. I say they're previously unreleased. I may be wrong, but I assume they've never come out on anything, including the Not Lame compilation. But we'll talk to those guys about that. Great band from Youngstown, Ohio, and I will never forget that they reunited to play IPO Philadelphia at the Khyber in I think it was 2003, and then they played
2003.
And then they played when we were in Youngstown. The one year we did IPO, that was what 2008, I think.
Yeah.
At what was the club called?
Cedars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that did my heart good, and anyway, it's now 14 minutes in, and we haven't even introduced them. Two main men of the band, singer-songwriter, lead vocalist of Blue Ash, Frank Secich and Jim Kendzor. I can't even say it. Jim Kendzor. So hello. I'm very dyslexic right now, Jim. I keep seeing your name is Kendzor, and
it's okay. I understand you got all caught up with Smokey Robinson there.
That's right.
Because
isn't that cool?
That was good.
If I just heard that record the first time and you had said nothing, I would have thought that was Smokey.
Yeah,
I really
well,
did.
actually, I'll just say this quickly. The band had another song that was played in several states that did well. Everybody's Going to the Lovin', which is an original. They were booked. A lot of the Southern clubs booked them. They were black. And when they found out they were white, they said, well, we love the songs anyway, so just come and
But
play.
you can't play here.
No, they didn't do that. They actually let them.
Well, get now, you hear?
Wouldn't that be funny if they, well, it wouldn't have been funny, but you know what I mean. Anyway, enough of that.
Like getting booked into the Apollo in New York.
That's
or
right.
something, you know? What are you doing here?
It's so great
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the release of this record on Peppermint Records.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Having a great time with it.
It's a thrill having you guys here for our 250th episode. Of course, I've known you for a very long time. I've always said that Blue Ash was one of those bands that snuck into my purveyance very early on.
Ooh, purveyance, I love it.
I've come to. It's wonderful whenever I used to listen to a band in my youth, and then years later I can call them friends as well. And I can do that with Frank and Jim. And I've always said,
indeed.
you guys are so prolific that there's so much unreleased stuff out there that we have many more years of Blue Ash vinyl to come, and that excites me. Number one. Number two, Frank, the ultimate performer with a number of bands after Blue Ash as well. But I've always said Jim Kendzor has one of the greatest rock and roll voices that has been unheralded and just never got the credit that he really should have, because not only is it a strong killer rock and roll voice, listen to the emotion when Jim sings. A lot of guys can kill it loudly, but they don't get the emotion in each phrasing that he does. And Jim has got it. So guys, if you haven't checked out all Blue Ash's original stuff, check that out as well.
And you guys were obviously a great rock and roll. You guys were a great rock and roll band too, but your voice is, you've got that really cool power pop tenor thing going on. So
I noticed that the first time he came up to see our band play in ninth grade in 1966, and we'd practice in my bedroom, my small bedroom. We'd put the bed up against the wall to get the amplifiers and the drums there, and we had him up just to hear the band. I had met him in junior high, and I said, "Can you sing?" He goes, "I'm not too bad." And we said, well, why don't we try one? We did Long Tall Sally in the same key as the Beatles. And I thought, well, nobody will do this because that's impossible to sing. And he nailed it as good as Little Richard or Paul McCartney ever did. And I looked at the other guys in the band. I looked at him and I said, congratulations, son. I said, you're now the new lead singer in this band. So that's how all that started when we were 15 years old. And I saw it right away. I thought, wow,
We used to
And
sing.
you said,
going
sorry,
to football games.
Yeah.
Friday nights.
Yeah, we would sing in the streets.
and you said, Jim, you've got an amazing power pop voice, which meant you coined the term a year before Pete Townsend did. So come on, this is a big reveal on this episode of Material Issues. Pete Townsend is taking credit for the term power pop, but no, it was Frank Secich all along, in tribute to Jim Kendzor. I said it right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the early days and how Blue Ash actually came to be Blue Ash. You guys grew up where in Ohio?
Actually, Sharon, Pennsylvania, right on the Ohio border.
Yeah,
about 10 miles from Youngstown.
Okay, and you're both Sharon, PA people?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Born, raised here.
Born, raised, and still there.
Still live.
We still only live like 10 blocks from each other.
Nice.
All these years of trying to make it big and get out of Sharon, and you're still there, Frank.
The only thing that's changed is I don't have to cut his mother's grass anymore.
Yeah. He cut half his toe off cutting my parents' grass. I would refuse to cut the grass. My mom hired Jim, and we had a bank down the front thing. She slipped and he almost cut his foot off with the lawnmower.
That's what I got for wearing penny loafers.
Oh, Clubfoot Kendzor, they call you. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, so
big toe right now.
you guys were Frank, you said you're talking about being 15 years old and he came to see your band and things. I'm assuming both of you guys started playing pretty darn young, or at least
Oh yeah.
Frank did. And Jim, were you singing fairly young, or was Frank?
I've been singing to albums. My dad had a huge record collection, and he liked all kinds of music, and he played 3 or 4 different instruments, and
wow,
he was like lead violin player in his high school when he was,
he was a good singer. He used to sing
Yeah,
that Paul Anka song, and he would nail it. What was it? Oh, Lonely Boy.
Well, yeah.
oh, nice.
Lonely. And he would nail that. I remember that.
So Frank, you're playing, and what led to the fact that you needed a singer like Jim to come along and join the band? Were you?
Well, no, I just met him at the first day of school in 9th grade, and I picked a fight with him. Yeah. and then he looked like Brian Jones. He had and only about 5 kids in our school had long hair. Most of them sat at the lunch table. So we started talking about music. I invited him up to hear the band, and that's when he did a vocal, and we got him in the band right away. We just had 2 guitars, bass, and drums before that. And then
So who was in that band, Frank?
What was that?
Who was in that band?
Beaver Warner, my boyhood friend. I got up. Bruce Miller was our drummer. Bill Rudge was a bass player, and I played guitar too. We had 2 guitars. And then first job we played with Jim was the First United Methodist Church Battle of the Bands. And I can remember we started off with Bye Bye Johnny, the Chuck Berry song. She drew out all her money from the Southern Trust, put her little boy aboard the Greyhound bus. But we didn't win, naturally. The folk singers won, Peter, Paul, and Mary kind of band or something.
You know where my mind is. You know where my mind is going right now. Reunion.
yeah.
What was that band called, Frank? What
that was the City Jail.
The City Jail.
All right.
And for a while we were Left Eye, and the Fathermuckers for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
The Fathermuckers for an
Back
hour.
then, that had to be really. I mean, that was radical.
He didn't remember that. He's laughing at Fathermuckers.
I forgot all about that one.
I love Left Eye. That's
Left Eye was great.
We told a couple parents when they said, "What do you guys call yourself?" And when he came out with the Fathermuckers, they were like, just a jaw drop moment.
Yeah.
And you came up with Left Eye before Lisa Lopes too. See, all these things we're finding out on material issues.
But then people would ask us what the band was called. We would say the City Jail, but sometimes we're known as Left Eye. That was our standard promo.
But were you guys just doing covers at that point, or were you writing songs?
No, we had a couple originals. We had one called "He Was Poor" that wasn't too bad, and another one the Beaver wrote called "Run and Dance in the Meadows."
Yeah,
and it sounded like Woolly Bully. So we used to do that live, but just a couple. Mostly we did Stones and stuff. We did The Last Time, things like that. Yardbirds, Beatles. I also had a 12. Yeah, the Animals. We were the only band I ever heard of that did "What You're Doing," the Beatles song, because it's so high and hard to sing. But he could nail it. So I would play it on my Teisco 12 string. Yeah, and he could just.
That is an unheralded. I mean, that's one of my favorite early Beatles songs, but people don't mention it too often.
Yeah, no one ever covered that because nobody could sing it. It's so high.
Maybe that's why.
That's fantastic. I love it. And I got to say to everybody, I've known Frank for a very, very long time, and I've heard a lot of stories. Frank has a memory on him, and that's why he's released a couple of books on his memories. If you haven't seen Frank's books, put in Frank Secich on Amazon, and they'll pop up. 2 wonderful books. But Frank, you've got one heck of. It's almost like a photographic memory because
I was always the Bill Wyman of the band, I guess, figuratively and literally. I would save all the stuff, and then I could always remember everything. He can't remember some stuff. There's very few things I can't remember. I remember most of the gigs we ever played.
Oh Lord!
Wow!
And we did 1,500 or 1,600 gigs in like 10 years, you know.
Oh my
So
God.
that was
You
that's
guys,
some serious playing.
when you got Blue Ash really rolling, you guys were playing, a lot. You were
250 gigs a year, and mostly one-nighters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Well, how did Blue Ash, the name and the band, form? What's the genesis of how that came to be?
Jim can tell you that.
We were going down to Nashville. We just young kids wanted to go check out a cool music city, and we were putting this band together, and we were trying to get a name for it. And I saw Blue Ash outside of Cincinnati, and I said, "How about Blue Ash?" I said, "That sounds like a cool name." You know?
We were trying to. This is the summer, June of 1969. We were trying to name the band all the way down to Nashville. So I-71 goes like 300 miles through Ohio. So we thought at first around, we were looking at signs at Akron, Wolf Ledges, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so I finally thought, I'm tired of just the next sign we see, and Jim goes, "How about Blue Ash?" And I go, "That's great." And we could have easily been Gnadenhutten, which is another town near Cincinnati there. But I'm glad Blue Ash kind of stuck there.
You would have had to become a German prog band if
Yeah.
So probably a good move not to.
If you ever saw my legs, we do not wear lederhosen.
Was there ever a thought to having "the" as part of your name, or was that by '69 totally uncool?
Yeah, that was uncool by then, but we did get people would do advertisements for us, and sometimes it would be the Blue Ash, you know. But
Yeah.
that was about it with that. You know, we would never have stood for that.
Right.
So you're going to Nashville and you see the sign Blue Ash, and you basically at that point you're like, this is this.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Frank and I were the only band members in the car that day, so the other two were just buddies.
Yeah. We really hadn't even formed the band yet. We had Chuck Borowski who's going to play bass.
We had a couple tentative guys
and then we got Goo Gendrick, who was in a band with Bill Bartlett, who later became our guitarist. So we got him in the band, and then David Evans, we got him in the band as a drummer. He was perfect because he was a great drummer and just a crazy Keith Moon kind of character. So
I think we tried about 5 or 6 drummers.
Yeah, we didn't like anybody.
They were horrible. Mm-hmm. His girlfriend says, "Oh, my
cousin,
cousin. My cousin plays in a band."
Yeah, I'm going, "Wow, I bet he's real good." You know?
He was in the Warren High School band, and we're thinking, "Oh boy," you know.
But she introduced us to him, and he was great.
He had a fabulous set of drums, and he
looked
good,
and he
looked cool.
Looked real cool, and he played like a wild man. So that was it. He's probably watching right now. Hello, David, down in Florida. Yeah.
You know, you talk about drummers. It made me laugh. I saw that clip the other day. What was it in Spinal Tap, where they're talking about all the drummers they went through? And he said I forget the guy's name. And he said, you know, he actually choked on vomit, and then they followed up and said, "Oh, he choked on someone else's vomit."
And just remember the best drummer joke. What did the drummer get on his IQ test? Saliva.
That's good.
So when at what point does what we know as Blue Ash with the two of you and Bill Bartle and David Evans, how does that start? What year does that kick off? And what was your plan for the band? What were you going to be?
October 70.
October 3rd of 1970 was a year from when we started Blue Ash. October 3rd, 69 was our first gig.
Wow. Okay.
Bill Gendrick all of a sudden quit, and he wanted to go back to college and be a teacher or something, and left us high and dry. So we didn't know what to do. So we were trying out all kind of guitars. And David and Jim and I were at my parents' house, and my mother walks in. She goes, "Why don't you give Cupid a call?" Because she was best friends with his aunt, you know, and I never thought of that. So I grabbed the phone and I called it, and I said, "Cupid, this is Frank's." And he stops me in middle last name. And he goes, "I've been waiting for this call for a week." He goes, "I accept." That was him.
And he already knew most of the songs we did because
Yeah.
he used to hang out at practice.
Yeah, he was
with
there
us.
all the time. So he all of a sudden was in the band, and he was a great
In fact,
songwriter.
we used to jam with him when we'd get done practicing as the band. So
Yeah.
so it was
Let's
pretty
move
easy.
people in here, though.
Yeah.
We know you're talking about Bill Bartolin, but you say Cupid. So
Yeah.
people that might not know your history,
Oh,
who is
Cupid was his
Cupid?
nickname?
And how
Bill
did he-
Bartlett's
How did he get the
was Cupid.
nickname?
It's on the back on the first album.
Right.
It
Oh, I
says
know,
Bill-
but I'm just,
Bill
I want you to
Cupid
tell me.
Bartlin.
We would always ask him, and he would never tell us. He never ever told us how did you get that name. He goes, I can't tell you. Okay. So he never did tell us.
Was he really good with the ladies?
Yeah. I mean,
All
we
right.
all were, but
Well, he used to play in a band, and they had lady followers.
yeah.
Well, but
I'm
that's
sure you all did.
that's who they're
My
talking about
thing-
when they talk about Cupid. Yeah, and God rest his soul. We lost Cupid. What 2000?
2009.
He was
Nice.
a brother.
Yeah. What's great about it, as soon as Cupid got in band, we were good with Goog and everything. We did some originals, but as soon as he got in the band really started taking off. And within 2 months, we were doing our first recording session in Philadelphia, which segues into the dinner at Mr. Billy's because that was his idea to call an album that. And I know you guys were asking how that came about, but we were driving one time in Pittsburgh going to a gig south of Pittsburgh near Clareton on Route 51. And he looks out the window and he says, look at that. He goes, Mr. Billy's. He goes, if we ever get to make an album, he goes, we got to call it Dinner at Mr. Billy's. And we all thought it was just stupid and crazy. We started laughing. And so we said, okay, let's write a song. So he and I wrote a song, Dinner at Mr. Billy's. And we completely forgot about it. Then we recorded it at Peppermint, completely forgot about it. So when we were going through stuff to get these things together, that came up. And I said, that's what we got to call the album, Dinner at Mr. Billy's, as a tribute to Cupid. And it was his idea. It was so silly. And it's a silly title, but we love it. Yeah.
Well, that's how a lot of band names and album names came about. I mean, I've known a lot of bands who, when they were kind of just throwing out names, suddenly someone says a name and everybody laughs.
Yeah.
And because it's so funny, they choose the name.
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
It gets his wish after all these 55 years. It's now an album.
Hey, Mark, I saw you chuckle at that, but that's in reference to Mr. Billy. Okay.
I got you.
We're going to have dinner with Mr. Billy, but there will be sparkling white wine.
That's in the lyrics.
It's one of the lyrics.
Dinner, Mr. Billy's. That's pretty
So
funny.
that it wasn't insanity. There was purpose to it. That's all.
And this is the album that we've been talking about, the brand new reissue on
And the
Peppermint
lyrics are
Records.
printed there too.
Pardon?
No, there's no lyrics.
I thought they were in there.
No.
I'll say. Well, what there
maybe
is
they
in
sent
here
out all
are
kind
a
of-
lot of notes that are not the easiest thing to read, I must say. So you really got to concentrate. But yeah, I don't see any
Sort of
lyrics
like
here.
both of our minds, not the
There's all-
easiest things to read.
When Peppermint sent it out, they sent out all kind of extra stuff. This was an old
Oh, I thought they had that with the
publicity
lyrics in it.
thing.
Oh,
in it.
nice.
And with reviews that we had, our manager Jeff Jones used to send these out, so they redid these and redid bios of us that are pretty funny too. And they sent it out to all the people who ordered, off of Bandcamp and they get hips. These come in as extras too, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, so I mean, we're talking about, when I talk about Blue Ash being prolific, you guys got the opportunity to record a lot at Peppermint. And was Peppermint the first studio you really were in and recording from number one, or
No,
you start recording? And how did you get?
Sigma Sound in Philadelphia was the first one where we did.
Sigma Sound was where you went to for your first recordings.
Then a month later, we went to Peppermint and did Stay and Here and Gone that are on there.
That's where Todd Rundgren recorded Runt.
Right.
Sigma
Oh,
Sound,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now, is Peppermint your first connection to Youngstown?
No, Jeff Jones was our manager, and in the summer of '69, he was managing Glass Harp and different bands. He managed Human Beings too for a while, and then he had just broken up with Glass Harp, and we showed up at his house, and we wanted to get him as a manager and a booking agent. And we sang "It's for You," the Beatles song, the way the Three Dog Night did with the harmonies, because we could nail that. And we sang, I think, "Nowhere Man," and told him we wanted him to manage us. And he took us on. He didn't really know us. I knew his sister, but he didn't know us that well, and took us on. He was our manager the whole time through the band.
Wow,
which is pretty cool.
So Sigma Sound, how many tracks did you originally record in Philadelphia?
We did 3 there. "We'll Live Tomorrow," everybody singing that song, which is a bonus track, and "I've Been Rolled," which is on there, but that later appeared on the Front Page News album. But that was one of the first songs Bill Bartlett and I ever wrote, if not the first song. You know.
Yeah. All right.
We eliminated the
yeah. But I had remembered the recording. I even told Jim there used to be a weird, like, psychedelic intro. Da, 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 da. And when they got the tapes from Drexel University, who had bought all the stuff at Sigma Sound,
and it was on there.
It was, and we mixed them over in Youngstown. But Anthony Lamarca and Dean Anches are at Peppermint now. Dean still plays out with Red, White, Blue, the band, and he plays with the Zombies too with Colin Blunstone. And Anthony is in a band called War on Drugs, which you probably heard of. They've won Grammy Awards and stuff. So they're along with Gary Ramey, the original owner, are the primary force of putting all these Youngstown bands out, and they're gonna do a whole series of Blue Ash stuff. So, and Club Wow maybe even too on vinyl. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, very cool.
A lot of things in the fire, but they do wonderful work and do all this color vinyls, and we're real happy with it. Have a lot of fun with it.
So we know obviously your first album on Mercury, No More No Less, and of course you have your second album on Playboy Front Page News. But there's been so much even released after that as unreleased Blue Ash things. And we talk about you being prolific. How and you've got hundreds more in the vault to come out in the future. How were you able to record so much at Peppermint? What was the deal there? It's almost like you were unlimited in the availability.
In May of 1972, we they wanted to sign us up to a production contract, which we did. And the deal was for the next 5 years, we would get 2 free days of recording every month. Well, we did our first demos. I remember Time, Abracadabra, and about 6 more, which got us signed to Mercury. Actually, Polydor, MGM, and Metro Media wanted to sign us, but we went with Mercury because we loved Paul Nelson and Bud Scapa, who came down. But anyway, so we would still go in there every month and just either make fully fleshed recordings out, or just go in and do live ones, which half of those ones
that's what most of that album is.
Half
of it anyhow.
It's just us doing live for copyright purposes and to send to Paul Nelson at Mercury. So we would just do them like that, and that's how we did a lot of them. But they came out pretty good. One take. I mean, that's us doing the harmonies and everything set up in the studio. No more than one take on any of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Mover was a one-take song.
Moving right along. And we used to do that live, but Jim's song is one of my favorites. It's All Right by Me. I think it's really, really a power pop thing. And we used to do that live, and he'd play a second guitar. But we did some of those live, but some of them we never ever did before.
Well, there you are, all these young bands. If you think you're taking. You think you're good, you're taking all that time in the studio and try to listen to one take Blue Ash outtakes that sound fantastic on Dinner at Mr. Billy's and see what work you have to do.
We did 36 songs in one day one time for Paul Nelson. And that's why you hear Cupid Bartlett's playing She Cried for 15 years, and it's he and I just playing guitars while Jim would take a break because he was singing so much, or David was playing so much. And then sometimes it would be just me and Jim. I'm playing a guitar and Dangerous Dynamite, and Jim's singing. But we did those in one session, like 10-hour session, 36 songs that day.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
About half of these songs, we never sat down in the studio, and did the kind of vocal work where you double them and get harmonies and all the other stuff. All we did was put it down so we had it on tape and we knew the song.
And I was looking at this one picture online today as well when I would gather some, but when you're looking there and you're going through things at is this in Peppermint?
That is Peppermint. That's a control room. If you see Gary Ramey at the control board there, you see something hanging from the ceiling. That's the Paul Nelson Memorial Ashtray. Because he hung it from the ceiling so Paul wouldn't have to leave, and have the ashes over the and Paul would constantly chain smoke Nat Sherman cigarettes. So it's still there too at Peppermint. Peppermint's still a going concern, and that Paul Nelson Memorial Ashtray is still there.
So Frank, you and I have talked about this in the past, but when you realized that all this stuff still existed at Peppermint, and you're going back and you're listening to hundreds of pieces of music that you've created, right? Songs. What was it like remembering that stuff? Did you remember all the things that you did?
Well, Frank must have. He's got the photograph.
I had a lot of those tapes because I took everything home from Peppermint, either acetates or things. So I had a lot of them in the house, but half of them I didn't have. But I remember doing every single one of those things.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
He would come and bring up a song that we did, and I go, how the hell do you expect me to remember that when I've sung it one time? You know what I mean? We'd work it out in a practice, and you go, okay, we're going to go into the studio this week, and then we'd sing it. I'd read the words.
One of the ones we put on the album, it was on the Not Lame Around Again, which Mark helped put together, and with Bruce Brodeen, and that was a good set. But one of them was Jazel Jane, and that ended up 2 years ago in the Amazon Prime hit series Daisy Jones and the Six.
Yeah, we definitely want to talk about that. Let's table that for a second.
Oh, okay.
We need to find out just how that happened, because that's incredible. You want to play a track from the album?
Sure.
Or I will. Yeah. You don't have to play. You can just listen to it. Well, I tend, when I do this, I tend to start out with the opening track, because there's usually a reason why it was chosen to be opening.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get
in this case. In this case, it's "Will Live Tomorrow."
This is somebody else's opinion.
Yeah. This was written by a folk singer named Terry Gruber from Pittsburgh, and Bob Mack had this song. It was a tribute to Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix, who had just passed away. So he took us to the studio December of 1970, and this is our first time ever in the recording studio. So at 18 and 19-year-olds. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad of a song. Yeah, play it. It's cool.
Very, very cool. Our opening track from Dinner at Mr. Billy's, the new compilation by Blue Ash. It's called "We'll Live Tomorrow," here on Material Issues.
We are recording. This is Dinner at Mr. Billy's.
Jimmy and Dennis were one.
That was We'll Live Tomorrow by Blue Ash from their brand new compilation, Dinner at Mr. Billy's. And I got to say, gentlemen, that is one hell of a sophisticated track.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I had given Mark the acetate from that.
That's
So,
why
Whoa.
I started wearing glasses.
Oh, you got it there. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a lot. I think our vocals are pretty damn good for 18 and 19-year-olds.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
of course, Bob was a real professional, so he did a good job in the studio and everything. But that was pretty cool. The great thing about this, nice little highlight of that trip, is that while we were recording, Wilson Pickett stopped in. He was in the other studio there to just give a listen, and he's
Whoa.
listening. And after we're done, he looks at us and he goes, "You guys aren't bad." He goes, "For white boys," and we started howling. So that was the highlight of the trip. And then we went to played at University of Virginia after that for a week down at the club there.
Yeah.
Just remember, Wilson Pickard covered Sugar Sugar, so he
Yeah.
So who is he
did
to
a great job
talk?
on Hey Jude,
Well, but he did have a couple of gold records on the wall down there at Sigma.
That is true.
no,
Which was
it's great
impressive,
that
yeah.
we recorded at Sigma because friends of mine went through all that Drexel University archives. They've got everything from Sigma Sound, and when they were doing,
it's insane. Yeah.
it's incredible. And next time they come back through, I'm going to go with them to actually see this stuff, which is really amazing. But when they were doing the Hall & Oates documentary with who was Hall & Oates producer? I'm losing my mind all of a sudden.
I wish I remembered, but I don't.
I don't know.
Ben Gollum's doing the documentary on.
Okay.
He worked with Klaatu as well. It'll come to me, but they went through all of the Sigma Sound archives and everything at Drexel University. The pictures they were showing me were just like, jaw dropping. So I'm hoping I get to go through that as well. But so I mean, you've got this fantastic track here off of Dinner at Mr. Billy's. Let's talk about how you got actually signed to Mercury. The Paul Nelson story. I know it a little bit, but let everybody know how Blue Ash gets on Mercury, a major label.
Well, when we were at Peppermint, they started. We did our demos in June of '72, and they started sending them out to all the labels. And Polydor, like I said, Merv Griffin's label, which was Metro Media, and MGM. Who was the main guy there? Mike Curb. He was interested. And anyway, we had a friend of ours named Gary Del Vecchio, and Gary passed away a couple of weeks ago. And Gary's a great guy. He just had things reissued all over the place. Great stuff. And he was in Paul Nelson's office in Mercury, and he was trying to get his band signed. He was from Warren, Ohio, and in Paul's office there were just stacks and stacks of tapes that would come in every morning in the morning mail, and Blue Ashes happened to be on top of it. So he says, Gary saw it, and he goes, Paul, these guys are from my hometown. They're very, very good. You ought to check them out. So Paul puts on the tape, and he loves it. He calls Bud Scappa in, who also worked at Mercury. He goes, Bud, you got to hear this. They both went crazy over it. But here's where it gets really crazy with Blue Ash. That night, they go out to dinner at their favorite restaurant in Manhattan, where they took us a lot afterwards too, La Strada on 46th or 48th Street, I think. And they're sitting at their table, and there's three girls sitting next to them at a table, and they hear him talking, about Blue Ash. And Paul goes over to the table and says, "Excuse me," he goes, "I don't mean to butt into your conversation, but are you talking about a band called Blue Ash?" And they said, "Yeah, we're from Jamestown, New York, and they play up there all the time. They're our favorite band." And he goes, "Well, I'm from Mercury Records. We just got a tape on them. We're thinking about signing him." And the one girl said, you should sign them. You got to hear them live, though. They're fantastic live. So the next thing, Paul was on an airplane to Youngstown to hear us live. And he loved the band and signed us up, and then took it from there. We started recording in February 1st.
Spent $4,000 on steak and lobster over the next week while we were recording.
we were
Oh, the old days.
It was a coup, baby.
one of the cool things is we had a restaurant called the Brown Derby, which was offshoot of the Brown Derby in Hollywood. And it was a great restaurant in Youngstown. It was only a couple blocks away from Peppermint. So every day during the recording sessions, we went for a month, and every Monday through Friday. Then Paul flew back to New York on the weekends, and then we had 2 weeks of mixing. So Paul would take us there every time. We said, Paul, could we get like surf and turf? Because we never had, we had like,
Po' boys.
he goes, order anything you want like that. So later on, he told me, he goes, he gets called into Lou Simon, who was the vice president of Mercury. He goes, Paul, get in here right away. And Paul goes, what? He goes, Blue Ash ate $4,000 worth of goddamn food in a month. And Paul goes, well, they're growing boys, Lou. He goes, they're just young guys. So that was funny.
That's probably the reason that we didn't get signed for the second album.
But we were both, and back then surf and turf was like $5.99 a dinner. It's like $60 now if you get it. But we would eat it for lunch and dinner every day.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
We figured they were paying.
Shoot.
Here's what people don't know, and maybe you guys don't know this either. Paul Nelson was so blown away by your demos that he never did look at the rest of that pile. And the next group of demos in that pile was by a band named Aerosmith, and Mercury never got to hear them. And so look what you did.
That's pretty funny.
And everyone out there, I'm totally kidding about that.
Yeah.
Just in case you
Luck
thought,
of the draw, baby. That's all it is.
there you go. Yeah. Poor Mercury, right?
Right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Quoting Dr.
So is
John.
the first single on the album Abracadabra?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I remember Time was released a couple of months later, and then they put out Anytime at All and She's So Nice. And Mark tried to get, they played actually Anytime at All on Dick Clark's American Bandstand. We tried to get that, but it was lost in the fire. Remember, Mark?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
there's about 3 or 4 years of American Bandstand. Everything that was ever, it's gone. And
we were
even
playing.
Nobody
We
has.
were playing at the Joint in the Woods in Parsippany, New Jersey, and Jim and I were rooming together. And we were there for a week. We opened up for Marshall Tucker Band, Nazareth, Lloyd Price. Different night we opened up for Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen. Anyway, we're watching, have the TV on, and Dick Clark comes on. He goes, okay, right after this commercial break, we're going to have Rate a Record, and we have 2 really good ones this week. And I said, I hate that Rate a Record shit. And I hit the, thing. And all of a sudden, half an hour later, our mothers are calling up, you guys were on American Bandstand today. My mom's on the phone.
Oh, my God.
we know what
everybody at the gig that night, you guys were on. It sounded great. They gave you a 95, and it's good to dance.
I was going to say. Do we know what the score was?
Yeah, 95. It was 95.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
What was the song? I assume the song must have been a regional hit somewhere, probably #1 on some stations, right?
Youngstown.
Oh, yeah. Different places. Boston. We got a lot of play in Boston and Detroit. We were very popular in Detroit. We had like 9 stations. And Cleveland, of course. Pittsburgh, yeah.
But, I talked early on in the show. We first started
Cleveland.
how great Jim Kendzor's voice is and the emotion behind just the phrasing. That's the first song that really blew me away in my youth, was just hearing the way you did. Have you seen her? And it just resonates, and not everybody can do that and mean it, and it's what I felt. It felt like he meant it. Like, have you fucking seen her?
It's funny because we wrote that in 1971, and then right after we were at Philadelphia doing the recording sessions, but that became one of our most popular songs, just live. Kids would love that, and even though it wasn't on the record, even though it was an original, people would go crazy over Evercast. So it was a natural single for that, and it was so cool when the records recorded that too in 1979. Yeah. And I got to meet them out in LA at the midnight special. Stiv Baders and I went there, and Lisa was there with us too.
Oh,
and
wow.
the Cars and Iggy were on that show, and it was pretty cool. And if you look at the old clips, you can actually see me, Stiv, and Lisa in the front row there.
Oh, wow.
They show stuff. Yeah.
John Wicks was such a nice man. He was actually at my wedding to my wife.
Oh, that's cool.
Really?
I sat.
And Mark was as well. And unfortunately, he passed away not too long after that of cancer. But
he was down in Pittsburgh playing with Paul Collins and Sean Harrison. Sean's going to come down to our Get Hip gig, and they invited me down, and we hung out and had a good time with Paul and John Wicks that night. And that was a couple years before he died. Yeah. And I'm still in contact with Will Birch. I talk to him maybe about once a month on the internet, Yeah. And I love that book he wrote on Nick Lowe. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I got it over here. So did Mercury treat you well?
Yes and no.
Okay, let's hear this.
The A&R guys loved us, okay? And the promo guys didn't know what to do with us because we were a throwback to the 60s, and they didn't know how to do this, and they hated us. And there were bitter fights on us all the time, drop us, record a second album, which we did mostly, and then they never released it, then released the last single, She's So Nice. And it was always, because we had all these rave reviews, and Paul Nelson was just getting so upset with them and everything. And it was just, they just didn't know how to promote us at the time because we were such a different band,
Well, it also didn't help that Bachman Turner, they came on the scene after we were starting to go.
Yeah.
Everybody was gung ho,
Yeah.
and then their manager made an offer to see them dollar for dollar in advertising. Match them.
Yeah, that kind of
stuff. So
whatever
we put up, you put up too.
We didn't have the money or the backing like that.
They came from Guess Who fame.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to win that fight every time with us.
I have no bad feelings about Mercury at all. I mean, it was what it was, and when you get on a major label, it's technically like getting on a major league baseball team. That's about how many people are on major labels at any one time. Sure. It's hard to do, Oh
God, yeah.
Doing that,
but it's hard to prove yourself if you don't get to play.
Yeah.
If they won't plug you in once in a while, then what are you going to do?
I mean, just promoting the Playboy stuff. They sent us money, and Jim and I went out for a week and went to every radio station in Pennsylvania, and we got like 100 of them. And got charted there. And Jeff Jones and Cuba did the same thing in Ohio. So that's why it took off. And we just had a singles deal with Playboy. With Look at You Now, the singles started taking off. So they wanted to do an album right away because they were selling tons of singles. Even National Record Mark picked up on the single, and they were selling thousands of them. So they sent us to LA, and we recorded the rest of it at, what was that place called? Village Recorder.
Front Page News got a lot of play down near Dallas and St. Louis.
Front Page News sold 54,000 copies before Playboy went out of business. That's not bad for an album.
No.
And we were, we had the start of a hit, song, because we were, what was the station down, was it around Dallas? An outer market of Dallas?
Well, we hit number one in over a dozen stations in Texas alone with that song, and I mean everywhere. Lubbock, San Angelo.
Look at you now? Were you talking Look at You Now?
Yeah. Galveston, all cities like that. Austin, all of them were playing it.
Yeah. So we've got No More, No Less, which was Mercury. Just so people can kind of get the timeline here. What you're talking about was your second major label release.
1977. It was Playboy Records, and they were distributed by CBS. So they got a great distribution.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember them calling me 2 days after it was released and telling me it was in every store in North America, which is amazing. It took Mercury 3 weeks to get it somewhere.
Youngstown.
Yeah, with independent distribution to get it to Youngstown. Yeah. So
how long were you technically then on Mercury before they were like
a year and a half? They let us go in like June of 1974.
Right. So there was no plan for a follow-up Mercury album
Yes.
Yes, there was.
We actually
yeah, you
recorded it.
mentioned that.
Yeah. If you listen to the Not Lame, you might find some interesting things in there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Nobody knows who owns those. Anyway, I guess we do in Peppermint. So
Yes, you do.
Yeah, there it is.
And
Okay.
Pedro.
Yeah.
And that's a fantastic album cover. I mean, I don't even know, is that still in print or not?
Yeah. I just looked on their site and they said they've sold out all of them. You know?
Cool.
I think Get Hip
That's
still
one of
has
the
a
most
few, but
beautiful
we would just give them.
vinyl album.
They definitely sold one to me. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, it's like with Not Lame, when we would do these deals, we would just give them a certain run that they could do it, and that was it, you know. So that Not Lame thing goes for like 400 pounds and like
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. But we're gonna do some of the stuff from Around again.
Just release Around again. Yeah.
We'll get that stuff out on an album here too. And
Because they don't own it.
No,
you know,
yeah,
that
that's
was
all
our.
that's all our stuff.
Yeah,
that was just licensed, so that's good.
And we've been talking about No More, No Less. There's the album cover.
Yes,
loving the iconic striped jackets.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
Well, that we were in Pittsburgh, and Jim and I went into a boutique, and they had two of those things, so we bought them right before the album cover. Jim still has both the coats. Somebody asked me
Somewhere.
what happened.
I was looking in the closet, couldn't find it.
Somebody asked me what happened to it. I said, I don't know what happened to him. Jim goes, I have both of them. I have yours too. I said, so he's going to try to find.
I got to try to find them. I don't know if Susan put them somewhere.
But there's a girl named Lulu Scholl from Pittsburgh, and I know she's listening right now. And Lulu worked in a boutique down there. And when she saw this coat, she goes, where did you get those coats? I said, at a boutique on Forbes Avenue. She goes, I sold those.
Wow.
She goes, that worked, and that's what it was. She had a coat real similar to it. So that's pretty cool.
If you still have them, Jim, I'd love to see a recreation of those two poses right there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I that ought to be a good one. I got
way less.
The back cover of Front Page News. Cupid had the copper colored jacket. I do have that one because I found it when I was looking for those. And I don't know. I got to check the other closets in the house. Susan might have put them in a case somewhere. I don't know.
That's
probably find a tape with about 100 more Blue Ash songs in those closets if you haven't.
Well, see that copper
very well be.
When we first went to New York, we met the Dolls at Mercury, New York Dolls, and they invited us to come down to Max's Kansas City. And we hung out with them, and they told us about the cool clothing stores. And one was Jumpin' Jack Flash. And we went there and we spent tons of money there. And I think Paul Nelson even got us some stuff from Mercury there. But that's where that copper one came, was Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Oh, really?
And I had a black suit like that. And you had the shades and those coats,
The
glam
the
coat.
pink one and the green one. I still got the green one. I saw the green one too.
But that was a great store, Jumpin' Jack Flash. And it was funny because we're in there one time with Paul. And I said, Paul, we would always say, yeah, we've been in New York now for 2 days. We haven't seen anybody famous. And Paul goes, I don't know. He goes, that blonde lady over there looks kind of like Mary Travers to me. And she turns around, she goes, hi, Paul. Hi, guys. That was Mary Travers.
Wow.
That's Peter, Paul, and Mary, if anybody's not familiar. Peter, Paul.
Yeah, from that. So that was pretty funny.
Now, I was going to make a joke about the jackets fitting or not fitting these days, but in all honesty, Frank, and I know
I lost 40 pounds in the last year.
I was just about to say that.
Big on me, so
you made this public, and I want to say, I mean, you look great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've lost 40 pounds since last March.
You've done a fine job.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least always a struggle. Mediterranean thing, and I only eat red meat once.
No, you're doing great. I mean, as you may know, I've had weight.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Up and down and up and down. I still want to lose a little bit more, but yeah, it's hard. Very hard.
I was 188 the other day when weighing
wow,
myself. So.
Nice. Good on you.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you stopped traveling around saying I gotta I got to try these donuts here. I've got to try.
Yeah. Well, see, I used to smoke.
Stay away from the sugar.
Smoke so many cigarettes in the old days, Winston's and Chitans, and I think I'd smoke 2 packs a day, and I quit 33 years ago. But that kept my down.
Sure.
But we used to play so much and jump around like maniacs. We never gained weight. We'd eat like pigs on the road, and we never gained a pound because we were always had to do so much work. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think
we were a real physical band. Stage.
So you're on Mercury with No More, No Less, and you're out playing. You're playing your asses off. You guys toured a lot. I know we've talked about this, riding around in car, you and I, Frank. But who were some of the cool acts besides the Bay City Rollers that you got to open up for?
Bob Seger.
Bob Seger 3 times.
Yeah.
Let's see.
David Cassidy.
Oh, nice.
Bobby Sherman. Bay City Rollers. We
Aerosmith.
We Iggy. I mean,
Iggy.
We're the opening band on the famous Metallic KO thing. It was the last job the Stooges played for 29 years, where they pelted them with ice cubes. We sat on a good story about that. Jim had an Epiphone Sheraton guitar, which he still has. And as we were getting off the stage for the Stooges to go, and this is February 9th, 1974. 10 years from the day the Beatles played on the Ed Sullivan Show. And they had to carry Iggy out. We knew it was going to happen. He was rare form.
He was rare.
But moving the equipment, we left Jim's guitar on stage on a guitar stand. Brody's forgot of it, just left it there. They pulled the curtain out. The Stooges came. They started pelting them with everything. But they threw so many eggs at it that the eggs splattered on the Epiphone Sheraton, the yellow oak yoke and everything. Jim kept that on there for decades as a reminder of that. Never polished the guitar. It was a big splatter. The egg splatter from the Iggy night was on there for decades. There's probably dozens of eggs hit that guitar because they were going everywhere. And we're on the side of the stage just laughing our ass off because you've probably, the story of that when he's just egging the crowd on.
He was so screwed up. He he didn't know his name. I mean, it was terrible. Yeah.
And that Stooges broke up that night, never got back together for 29 years. And we played with them in Chicago before that too, at the Aragon Ballroom, and a similar kind of stuff there. But
was it true about David Cassidy? Was he true? I mean, was he really a rock star on stage, and were just tons and tons of screaming girls?
Yeah, it was the teeny bopper thing. I got to meet.
He had all the magazines. His face was there like the Beatles.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to
during
meet
his reign.
I got to meet him again years later at National Record Mart when I was a manager there. They had a convention every summer. And they would bring big stars, and that year they had Waylon Jennings and a bunch of other people, and they would come around to all the tables for the districts. They would have like 6 managers there, and it was all girls in my district, and they were just fawning all over him and grabbing it. I said, "That's enough! Stop it, God damn it! Leave the guy alone." I said, "This is bullshit. Don't do this." And he goes, "Frank," he sees my name tag. He goes, "Can I hang out with you the rest of the day?" I said, "Sure." But anyway, he gave me a nice autograph picture and everything. But I stopped the girls from doing because he was their idol when they were little, And this is like in the late 80s and something. They're just all fawning all over me. I said, "You're just embarrassing yourself. Stop it," So,
wow.
Let's talk about now. No More, No Less. I mean, critically acclaimed, but just wasn't backed and didn't have the push. They threw money at the Dolls and everywhere else. And so a year and a half after that's out, you're off of Mercury. So between that point and when you get the attention of Playboy, are you guys just playing?
Yeah, we were playing, but we were still recording and everything too. But Columbia Records was very interested in us after we left Mercury, and they flew us up to New York, and we played. These are other tapes that are at Peppermint too, other than the other 200 tapes there. We played in Studio A where Simon and Garfunkel and Dylan did Highway 61, and they would bring 20 or 30 people in, sit on wooden chairs. We play a couple songs, then they leave and they bring other people from the headquarters, and we almost got signed there. And I don't know why we didn't. We ended up with them another year or two later because Playboy was part of them, and we had all the people that liked us there, like Ed Naha and Gary Kenton and that. Ed had set that up for people to come in and watch us play, and it went through that, and it was. They said no thanks. So, but then we got frustrated. Then Nat Weiss, if you're familiar with that name, David, you should be. He was the Beatles' American lawyer and Brian Epstein's good friend. Nat was real interested and came to Youngstown and hung out with us for a weekend. The Nat Weiss tapes are at Peppermint too, and they are fantastic. There's great keyboard with it. So there's another album there. And anyway, Nat was going to sign us.
Did they find those?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, we found it because that was the Make It Easy one with the keyboard. Anyway, so Nat hung out for the week, and we loved the guy. He told us all these Beatles stories and everything. And anyway, he was going to sign us and everything. And then about a month later, I talked to him on the phone. He really apologized. He had so many things going on, had some financial problems, and just couldn't do it, and didn't want to hold us back any longer. And I wish we would have gone with him because he was a cool guy and been on Emperor. So that was another. And RCA was a similar thing. So now we've had 3 different things. We almost got signed again, couldn't do it. And when Steve Friedman, who used to work at Peppermint, took us to Miami to Criteria to do some demos, got us a singles deal with Playboy, and then the album deal after that. So, yeah, that's how that happened.
We did.
We're here with Frank Secich and Jim Kendzor of Blue Ash, celebrating the release of this great compilation, Dinner at Mr. Billy's, on Peppermint Records. And I want to play another track. And of course, the one I want to play is the one for which you have been recently well known, Jazel Jane. And I have to, we have to ask before I play it. Let people know that there was a mini series a few years ago called Daisy Jones and the Six. It was about a fictitious band who were loosely based on Fleetwood Mac. So it talks about their trials and tribulations, and all of a sudden, in the background comes a song by Blue Ash.
Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, it's funny because in the movie, in the series, about 10 minutes in, Daisy Jones had just had sex with this Jim Morrison kind of character, which was right. She goes back to her home and she's all dejected and everything. And she starts writing in her diary. She wants to be a rock star. And as she's writing, the Blue Ash song kicks in. And then it segues to Pittsburgh in 1970, which is great. Whoever was putting this stuff together knew their stuff. And the Dunn brothers are playing at a party in Pittsburgh, and Blue Ash is playing in the background. And anyway, that was pretty cool that they did it to Pittsburgh. And Reese Witherspoon was the producer of that series. So, and the way we got in there was I got contacted by a guy named Jeremy Thompson. He's from Reminder Records in New York. You familiar with him?
Yes.
And he goes, Frank, he goes, you got any old things that you guys have rights to? He goes, I can try to place them in movies and TV shows. That's cool. So I sent it to him. He got it in the Daisy Jones thing. And it was a nice little payday for us and Peppermint too. So it was real cool. And I've had a lot of people, discovering us just from that,
Sure.
So it was cool.
Kind of like the last song of Breaking Bad, Baby Blue. Do you know how many
really
people discovered Badfinger? So many people, younger people discovered Badfinger through that. I mean that is it's just so amazing when Kismet works out and you end up having something like this happen, and well deserved, by the way, as it's a great song. So we're going to play it right now for everyone here. On Material Issues, we've got Jazel Jane by Blue Ash.
No one Baby, it's you. Hey, mama, there's nothing left to say. I don't believe it's Jason J. Hey, baby, you're getting in my way. I don't believe it's Jason J. Can't you see I'm having fun? Jason J. You're all alone and having none. Let me in, Jason J. You are driving me insane. When is it your name? Or is it you? Baby, it's you. 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 Baby, it's you.
I forgot about it, and I just thought about it here. I said, that's right. I was going to wear the blue Ashford.
That was a really
Not the-
great song. Congratulations again
That
for
was a lot
getting
of
it on
fun.
the soundtrack.
We wrote that after we were playing in West Virginia and went to the racetrack there, and there's a horse named Jazel Jane. We bet a lot of money on it, won a lot of money. We'd go down Wheeling and play for that. That's what we'll write a song about it. But it's cool. The Blue Ash is getting a lot of kudos. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, the Shindig.
Yes,
Book is-
yes, I have that issue.
We got at last Christmas a 10-page spread on there with Badfinger and everybody else. It's pretty cool.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
And they're going to do a review on Dinner Mr. Billy's too, so that's kind of cool.
60 years later.
Hey, some people don't get it until after they're dead. Some people never get it.
For 74-year-old guys like us, it's actually kind of fun, you know. We can do half ash like this. This is what we call it. If we get David Evans up here to do some stuff, we'll do 3/4 ash.
Did you I
Half
take it
Ash
you
gets
saw,
a better laugh, though.
Yeah.
You know.
I did you I'm taking you saw the whole miniseries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got a comment on this. I thought it was a pretty well done, but there was one scene that is just so ridiculous. I think you'll agree when I tell you, but I think it's supposed to be around 1976, and the rhythm section of Daisy Jones and the Six happens upon a New York club, just kind of a dive bar. They don't really name where it is. And suddenly there's this punk band playing, probably in front of 50 to 100 people. And they're obviously supposed to be the Ramones.
Yeah.
So they do a song, they're done with a song, and the crowd's going berserk. And again, there's only like 50 or 100 people.
Yeah.
And the two guys look at each other and they said, "That's it. We're done." Okay, sure. So this is a band who's playing regularly in arenas in front of 5 figures. And because 100 people are going berserk over some band, we're done. Okay, sure. Yeah.
It's kind of like revisionist history or something.
How did Mr. Spock say that? Illogical.
Yeah, very. It's just one of those Hollywood things. They figured.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so does Blue after front page news? Do you guys decide to call it quits
No, we still played and we still recorded, but we got Brian Wingrove in the band, the piano player, and Bobby Taco is a drummer. And then we did a final series of songs late 78. And the last one we did at Peppermint was She Isn't There. And
you read my mind.
We did another one that I wrote for Lisa for our wedding called It's So Easy, that's ended up on that Not Lame thing too.
Yeah.
But there was some really good stuff like that. And then it would have been 10 years. We couldn't get anything. And then
we didn't want to play jukebox
Jim was
music for
Jim
clubs
was going
again.
back to college, and Cupid was taking courses. And that was the end of it. We didn't want to be a cover band or just to do that. So Steve got a hold of me, came at Christmas time in 78, and I started writing songs with him and ended up out in California with him and doing stuff for 2.5 years with him. The Disconnected album, all the bomb stuff.
Right.
I'm sure you remember, guys, but where was the last Blue Ash concert before you essentially hung it up prior to reunion time.
Up in Cleveland with
Robert
Cavanis
Gordon.
and
Oh no, yeah, we played in
1980 or
yeah, like
something?
1980,
David-
81. We just got
David from Toronto.
it was Mikey Ray, Mike Hammer. And George Cavanis and Eddie
I thought
Best.
that
from
was David that played up
Best
there
and
with
me and Jim, and we played at the Agora in Cleveland. That would have been 1981. The end of that. We just got
Did you
the band
know
together and did a few things.
that was the last time, or
yeah, and then we did the reunion things like when
you
we
had
did
put those guys together. Out in Akron.
Yeah, we did the stuff with we went to Philly with the IPO, and that's when we did all the from 2003 to 2009 before Cupid passed away. And
that's one of the highlights of seeing anybody reunion wise. Whenever you guys came into the Khyber, and
yeah, that was fun.
That was so special to me. Let me tell you.
We had a great time with from the Naz there.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
He was a great guy, you know. That was a lot of fun.
Stookie played a couple of IPO shows too. Yeah, he was very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I actually saw the Naz in Cleveland in 1968.
Oh wow!
At the Manor Hall of Blue, and Cyrus Erie opened up for him with Eric Carmen was pre-Raspberries band.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah, that IPO show was that still sticks out in my memory. It was an electric night at the Khyber, and who was that girl in the white mini skirt with the boots, white boots? David, I forget her name.
Oh God, I don't remember.
I remember that clearly, but that was an electric show, and then of course at Cedars in Youngstown. But where was the big outdoor venue I came up to, and you were opening up
B&B.
Yeah, B&B backstage for Mountain and Vanilla Fudge.
Vanilla Fudge and Carmen Appice was such an asswipe.
Yeah, he was.
You guys were blowing everybody away, and you were coming out for encore, and Appice said, "Enough, cut them off."
Yeah, they cut us off.
Oh no!
And we brought the whole crowd in.
Wait a minute, we didn't even get to practice. A little sound check because Mountain Leslie West was such a dick.
Yeah,
I mean,
we didn't even get a sound check.
Jesus, he was terrible.
That was a fun gig though because it started storming when they came on.
Just sitting there
The
puffing
skies
away.
opened up.
He wasn't even working with the band or anything, trying to get. It was just all him, but he took up like 40 minutes.
But see,
I remember being under that tent after you guys had played, and everybody's buzzing over you, and we were pissed off that Appice did that, but then Mountain was on and it started raining. It was like, fuck them.
Well, see, we in like 1971, we had opened up for Cactus, which they were all in.
Yeah.
And University of Pittsburgh at Bradford. And it was a huge concert, and we just blew them off the stage. And people, when they came on, they were such drunks and drug addicts, and they were just slobbering, all fighting on stage, swearing, and people were screaming, "Blue Ash, bring Blue Ash back." So there might have been some old
Rusty
bullshit.
Dave didn't have it anymore.
There was some residual resentment.
Yeah, it was.
And he didn't want it to happen twice.
Like the Raspberries, they were all excited. The Hollies were going to take them on tour. So the Hollies take them on tour, and they play Detroit and in Chicago. And after Chicago, the Hollies says, "We have to fire you. You're just going over too good. You guys are too good." So they were all excited because they're going on this big tour with, the Hollies. And that was the end of it, 2 days. So it hurts sometimes if you're a good band and you're opening up for people. Well, like Free with Blind Faith. That's the reason they broke up Blind Faith, because Free was blowing them off the stage for the half dozen jobs they played on that tour. And that was the end of Blind Faith.
Egos in that band.
Yeah, really.
I can only imagine.
Great memories. That was great. That B&B was such a great. That was a great night. The place was packed. That outdoor play.
Hey, Mark. Another thing was back at that age in the 80s, and that Cupid and I, we put together a blues band through the 90s. We played about 10 years, just us two and a couple other guys that we knew. And we were pretty well known around the area just playing as a blues band.
Well,
I mean, we
tell
didn't
the
do any
name.
originals.
Yeah, you guys had good names. Blues Weasels was one, and then Thaddeus Wolfgang, which
Thaddeus
his
Wolfgang was
middle
the one
names.
that we played in. That's,
Thaddeus Wolfgang.
his middle name is Thaddeus.
and my
Oh,
and
wow.
my
I
son,
swear to God, it
my
is.
son's middle name was Wolfgang. So
No way. Wow.
It's awesome. So you guys are, you did a couple things into 81 or so, but you didn't get back together again until the 2003 Kyber
that was it.
show.
Yeah.
What was it? What was that? 2009 in Youngstown was 8 or
Yeah,
8?
2008 in Youngstown.
eight. Yeah,
Then
I
we
think it was
did.
eight.
We did still. We're playing concerts and everything through 2009. The last we played was Billy Day's benefit at Corinthian Ballroom. That would have been March of 2009 was the last we played, and then Cupid passed
Oh,
away
that's right. Down
in
in
October.
Corinthian
Yeah,
there. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yes, of course. With the passing of Cupid, it's hard to say, Blue Ash is back, because obviously in your heart,
He was a big part.
Yeah.
I mean,
They-
that Blue Ash.
David, our drummer, was in Florida, and first drummer, and then Jeff, our second drummer, moved to California. So, when we did the reunion gigs and everything after that, like going to Spain and everything, we just used the Deadbeat Poets. And I would play with them the first set, and then we'd bring Jim out, and we would do Blue Ash for the second set. So they got two, and that was a fun tours. And we played in Canada and played all over Spain, so that was great.
They were
And obviously, when you
they
get
were good. They were good bandmates there.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, you got guys like Pete Trevere and
Oh yeah,
Corey
yeah,
playing in your band. You could
Yeah,
you could do all the classic Blue Ash. And
yeah. Pete would those guys would like genius.
We've got all this archival stuff from Peppermint that's been coming out over the years. Obviously with Not Lame and now the dinner with Mr. Billy's. And we've got more, evidently. Frank, you're talking about more in the future. What's the future hold for the two of you with playing more and going out as Blue Ash? Do you have plans?
One thing we've been doing since about 2017 is doing a new Blue Ash album. We have 9 songs finished.
Wow.
We need 2 or 3 more, and they're really good stuff. One that Jim and I wrote called Cousin Dickie's Shirt. It's real hooish. It's kind of the theme of it is kind of like a coming to age thing. We have a song called The Black Light Room, which is the most psychedelic thing you'll ever hear in your life, and it's based on a thing Jim used to have in his basement, the Flower Palace, which was like a little drug den, yeah. And so the Black Light Room
don't feel
is our strawberry fields forever. It can be such a thing for us. But then we have a lot of cool songs, and we finally did Million Miles Away because we only had an acoustic demo that Stiv and Michael Monroe and a dozen other people that recorded. So we did that and a bunch of other originals. Never Surrender is a good one. Sanitary George. This is just a bunch of stuff. So we have to finish that with Pete, but Pete lost his studio, so he's doing it out of his house now because they sold the
Somebody
building.
bought the building.
And they
I did not know that they sold the building where his studio. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So he's doing some work, put all the equipment back in his house and set up a couple rooms of studio. So we have to finish that. But there's still Blue Ash is showing up everywhere. You probably saw this. I Want to Be a Teen Again.
Yeah.
I have 3 things on there with Club Wild Baiters and Infidels around here. Looking for the Magic, also with Cherry Red box set here. Abracadabra's on there. And just came out a few months ago. I Shall Be released with Dusty Old Fairgrounds. So Cherry Red's doing a big thing on us and really nice.
They're a great label. They have some of the most amazing compilations that I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're doing really good stuff. Jim and I are going to actually do an interview in 2 weeks with David Eastaugh out of C86 podcast in England. So we're going to do that in a couple of weeks too. So
nice. It's just it's been a fabulous ride. I've been very honored to be kind of a part of a lot of different things with you guys. And
we owe you guys a lot of stuff. It's been a lot of fun. We've always had fun doing it.
It was an honor having you at IPO in the 2 U.S. cities, and of course the poets in
we did a lot of them. Yeah.
And
the Deadbeat Poets at the Cavern. I don't remember that well.
Yeah.
You guys know what he's talking
those
about.
Fish pies, Mark. I don't know what kind of sane person would buy a fish pie in a bar in Liverpool.
Is that what happened? I thought you said it was an egg salad sandwich at a gas station.
It was a fish pie. I had one that was really good, and then when I went back for a second one, it seemed a little off. And when the waitress came by to check on me, I said, it's okay. She goes, well, it's good because we thought we were sold out, but we found one hidden in the back.
Oh my God.
We could have stopped eating right then and there, but I didn't. And then
that's great.
I remember when you guys were getting ready to play that night, I was already sick as a dog, but I got there to drop merchandise off, and immediately I'm there by the front stage where the merch table was. I said, I got to get to a bathroom. And the bathroom was in the backstage all the way back. And all I remember is running through the crowd, running down that hallway to the bathroom. And that's the last I remember. I evidently kept running and went right into the wall.
It's now dubbed the Mark Hershberger Memorial Wall, by the way. Big sign on it.
They said, dude, you just ran headfirst into the wall. You never stopped. I don't remember at that point.
Wow.
That was such a thrill. Such a thrill playing at the Cavern both times.
Hotel sick. Yeah. I missed that.
They got that. They had that fish imported from the Cuyahoga River. Up in Cleveland.
Apparently.
That's the river that used to catch
That's
fire.
used to catch fire.
And all the pollutants in it from the mill catch on fire.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We really had a great
thanks for
time.
having us, guys.
Thank you, David.
We're running some banners across the bottom. It's dinner at Mr. Billy's. It's peppermintrecords.bandcamp.com is one place you can get it, but we're also running the banner. You can get it at gethip.com. And if you're over in Europe, which is really cool because we talked about how expensive it is to get things from Europe, mailing, and obviously from here to mail it there, you can get it at gerson.com if you're over in Europe. So plenty of places to get it. And there are how many different colored vinyl versions?
5 different colored vinyls, and Japan has it too at Disc Union and HMV. You can buy it at either both
Disc
places.
Union and HMV Japan.
Yeah.
It's a couple people checking in saying it was a wonderful
Thank
interview.
you, Tim.
Oh, thanks everybody. Thanks for
Thank you, Starman.
tuning in.
Thank you, Mark W. and David.
Well, thank you. And as a goodbye, we'll play one more track from Dinner at Mr. Billy's, one that you mentioned earlier, Frank. She Isn't There.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, that's a great song.
It really is, and we love it. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Take
We'll
care.
put you guys down in the queue as we play this out, but love you both. Best wishes with everything, and we'll be talking to you real soon.
Thanks so much. Talk to you again.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's rock.
Right. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm crazy alone. I lost my girl. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at the world. So I found this. She could care less. Now down goes love. I think I guess the thought of her with someone else.
What an amazing song and a great coda for Dinner at Mr. Billy's. She isn't there. And one of the most remarkable things about it, and I know the guys can still hear me, is the drumming of David Evans. And the other Blue Ash, a song for which I mostly remember the drumming, is one called Pleasant Dreams. And that shows up on the Not Lame compilation. But the guys may remember that they gave it to me for the International Pop Overthrow Volume 7 compilation, which came out in 2004. And Frank will probably remember this too. But the one thing that concerned me about the track was the kind of funky beginning that it had. And I said, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work well with a various artist comp. And so I, with lots of trepidation, I gave Frank a call and I said, Frank, thank you so much for the track. I don't really know how to say this. And he interrupted me. He said, you want to cut out that intro, don't you? And I said, well, yeah, I hope you don't take offense. He said, no, not at all. I totally understand and go for it. So thank you for that as well. That was what a great track that is. It's track number 4. No, track number, what is it? Track number 6 on disc 1 of that compilation. Out of print, but you can still get it here at well, for me actually. Yeah. But anyway,
but she isn't there. I mean, that right there, I mean, number one, what vocalist is any better than that? What vocals
right.
are? Listen to each. I mean, the drumming is fantastic. Bartlett's lead guitar work is fantastic. Yeah. Frank's all over the place on the fretboard with the bass. I don't know if Brian Wingrove was playing piano or who they had playing piano, but everything about that song, all the pieces involved, doesn't get any better. I mean, it
really does encapsulate everything, doesn't it?
Really, everything that makes that band as great as they are, Blue Ash, and we're pumping up Dinner at Mr. Billy's. It's the new release. I'm going to pop it up here again. David has the vinyl in his hand. We'll pop that up. But David's got the vinyl. It's
the brown colored vinyl.
Brown. It's on black. It's got blue. It's 5 different colors. Those are swirls. There's all kinds of colors. So collect them all. If you want, you get all 8 or 9 versions plus the CD. The CD's coming out.
Yeah, which will have 2 bonus tracks on it, which are early and both really great.
Fantastic. Always excited when Blue Ash has things going on. And there's more in the vault. So
I know. I can't wait.
Stay tuned. It's crazy.
And these aren't throwaways. These could have easily been on a major label record,
Yeah, indeed. And speaking of staying tuned, we got a bunch of stuff coming up on material. There's some really cool things going on, right?
Absolutely. Next week, which will be the 12th of April, next Sunday, we have one of the best known child actors. They say actor now for both genders. So yeah. But back then she was an actress. You saw her on tons of TV shows from the late 60s into the 70s. She was always there. You saw her on an episode of Star Trek called And the Children Shall Lead. You saw her on the Brady Bunch, which in some ways she might be best remembered for as Jan's friend Lucy Winter. You saw her on the Paul Lynde Show as a regular. She was one of Paul's kids, one of his 2 daughters. And another thing for which she might be best known is as the voice of Lucy Van Pelt on all those Charlie Brown cartoons. Where you don't see her, but you certainly hear her. And she did have a very, very unique voice, and one that certainly stood out. So she did do a lot of voiceover stuff. Most recently, and for many years, I should say, she's been an animal rights activist and has definitely gotten a lot of press for that. And she's still very, very dedicated to it. She was one of my childhood crushes. So this is going to be really cool. We've got Pamela Ferdin coming up on April 12th, right here on Material Issues. So if you were a child of the 60s and 70s, no doubt You'll remember her. If you don't remember her name, you certainly will remember the things that she was on.
Absolutely.
The next week, we have somebody who very well could be a Power Pop Hall of Famer. Some people don't really see him as Power Pop. I'm not so sure he does either. But he's kind of in that Emmett Rhodes vein of just the great singer-songwriter with the most quintessential pop voice. Put out lots of records over the years. He's doing that. He still does a video cast where he plays music for people. He's great. He is iconic. Mr. Chris Von Snydern on Material Issues on April 19th. Quick note, and we'll certainly remind people of this. The episode is going to start 2 hours later than normal. And that's on me because I have an IPO Chicago show that's going to end too late for us to air at our normal time. So we're going to be at 7 o'clock Pacific and 10 o'clock Eastern. So hopefully you Eastern people can stay up a little later to watch this. Because Chris
for those of you over in the UK, you can just get up early in the morning for breakfast and join us.
Yeah, why not, right? And Chris is also even though his music is very serious and it's not particularly humorous, he is. So this should be a very entertaining episode. Then coming up the next week, I mentioned this at the outset, we're going to have Brad Rosenberger, one of the owners of the great Omnivore Recordings label, our label, the one that our compilations have been on for the past several years. And we may have Cheryl Powelski, who's another owner of Omnivore. She may join us as well. But we'll talk all things Omnivore and how Brad got into this business and some of the upcoming releases, including the one I mentioned and also showed at the outset, a Record Store Day release by Bob Brady and the Concords, a 60s group that sounded very much like Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. And the real miracle is that they were white and they could pull this off.
I really like that track you played. That was really good too.
And there's a lot of other good stuff on the compilation. I think this is the only compilation that has ever come out on these guys. Brad was a big fan, and I'm so glad they did this. I mean, I've been waiting for a comp on them for quite a while. So we'll and it'll be available on Record Store Day, which is what is it? 18th, right? Yeah, the 18th of April. So look out for that. So yeah, we'll have Brad and hopefully Cheryl, and then we got something very cool coming up in the beginning of May. What say you, Mark?
May 3rd, which will be the first Sunday in May. You know, I was sitting around a number of weeks ago, and I'm like, who would I really like to talk to as we're doing some things? And I said, you know what? I was a big fan of 4 out of 5 Doctors in the early 80s. Their first album with the track Modern Man on it. Their second album, which was called The Second Opinion. With
Why not? They are doctors after all.
Roxanne. They were just a really good, not so much power pop, but a very good pop band.
Right.
Kind of like producers in that kind of vein.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Yeah.
Very, very good band. I said, you know what? I'd love to talk to somebody from thank you, Starman. From 4 to 5 Doctors.
We hope you're here too.
And I got a contact for Mr. Cal Everett, and he responded to me very positively because he's got a brand new CD coming out right around May 3rd. And he said maybe we could do a thing. And
I forgot to bring it in. Do you have it handy? There you go.
It's hard to see with the light, but there it is. Cal Everett. It's called Weight of Early Promise, WEIGHT, like the weight of early promise. And when he got back to me and we talked about possibly doing this interview, he said, I'm going to send you the brand new upcoming album, and I want you to listen to it from track 1 all the way to the end. Don't skip around. Don't stop it. Listen to it all in one sitting, because that's how I wrote it, old school style, where I want it to flow in a certain direction, and I want your I want your opinion on it. And I sat down, and I remember when I first heard 4 Out of 5 Doctors, this was 46 years ago. And this guy coming out now with a brand new album, his voice is killer. The music is absolutely gorgeous. I was blown away. So I said, Kyle, we got to get you on the show, and we got to talk about this. And he agreed. So May 3rd, we got Cal Everett of 4 Out of 5 Doctors, but with a brand new solo release. And Cal's in sunny Southern California right now, visiting his grandchildren for Easter. And I believe you're having lunch with him tomorrow, David.
I am. In fact, he just sent me a text confirming that. And I had a chance to speak with him on the phone a bit a couple of days ago. And what's remarkable about this album is, besides the fact that there are tons of tracks, what, about 18 or 19?
Yeah, it's a lot, because
they're not like 1 minute tracks either. They are full-fledged tracks. And what's amazing is, you said he was in good voice. In my opinion, and maybe yours, his voice is better now than it was back then. And he's in his 70s. I don't think there's anybody else who I've heard in this world of rock and roll that we know who could say that. And he's very, very proud of this album, and he's very proud of how good his voice is now. But you won't. First of all, you won't believe he's that age when you hear it. And secondly, you will be blown away by how good his voice is, and the songs are excellent as well.
Yeah, it's really. I was a little jaw agape whenever he files, because I was like, all right, it's 46 years later, and it's going to be whatever. And I just sat there and I did what he asked. I put it on track 1, and I had the headphones on. I laid back and listened to everything start to finish. And it just it's a fantastic work of art, a fantastic CD. His voice is beautiful. The songs are great. So tune in May 3rd. We'll play a few tracks from it.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about how it all came about. And we'll get information on, the 4 Out of 5 Doctors, if you were a fan of them in the early 80s. And it's going to be great. And
really look forward to it.
A lot of things coming up,
yeah, lots coming up. Of course, we have other irons in the fire. Maybe one of those weeks in May before I head out to Europe for IPO, we can do another segment where we play a bunch of tracks by new bands, not new bands, but contemporary albums by bands, and which is what we do every now and then. So maybe we'll get one of those in. But as well, irons in the fire. Well, a lot of cool guests that we could get, and
this has been episode number 250. And if you missed any of them, across the bottom, materialissues.com, that takes you to our YouTube page. The little link up there, it says live. You can click on that, and that's where all the archives are. If you missed any of the shows, go there. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. Make sure you send it to your friends. Let them know, boy, if you've missed a lot. I mean, we've had the Cal Sills and Jim Stafford of the Association and
Brian Amy Taylor.
What's that? Yeah, Amy Taylor, episode 95. But I mean, the list of people we've interviewed goes on and on and on. And it's there's so much great music out there. Music that, if you say there's no good music being made these days, check out virtually all of our 250 episodes where we talk about it, but many of the episodes we play music, and you'll discover some fantastic bands, artists that you can still pick up all over Bandcamp and Amazon. Please support them, because we love the physical product, we love the CDs, we love the vinyl, and there's a lot of great.
And we've got to make sure that it has continual existence. Nothing wrong with digital releases, as long as you also have the option for a physical.
Yeah. And many thanks to my good friends Frank Secich and Jim Kendzor of Blue Ash appearing tonight, talking about dinner at Mr. Billy's. Just fantastic.
And many thanks to you. Many thanks to you, Mark. 250 episodes. When we started this,
I got you.
we certainly wouldn't have envisioned that it would last this long. And it's been an absolute joy doing these with you.
Yeah, likewise. Right back.
Here's to 500 episodes. No, make that 750. Make it 1,000. Make it 1,250. We'll keep adding 250.
And just like Major League Baseball, we're going to put our own ABS system in so we can challenge some of the facts that we bring up and rewind. And yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
No, we won't. This is one place where we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it old school.
Yeah, indeed. Well, it's always a pleasure. 250 episodes, David. Thank you so much. And also love to Rena for putting up with us on Sunday afternoon.
Love to Cezinati for putting up with you for being late to walking and feeding them.
It's all good. We'll see everybody back here next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific with Pamela Ferdin.
Wow,
If you're not sure, Wikipedia her, and you're going to look right at her face and go, "Oh my gosh, I know who that is."
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's going to be good. But have a great night, everybody. We'll see you back here, materialissues.com next Sunday, 5 p.m.
Have a great week and weekend, and we'll see you next Sunday. Don't miss it.
Happy Easter. Happy Passover, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the holidays. Be safe. Good night.